Hello, readers. Welcome to the Reader's Garden. I'm Mrs. Gardner. I am so excited to read and learn with you today. So let's get going.
Phonics connects sounds and symbols, unlocking code, increasingly nimble, like wings for words, it'll lift you high. With every sound you soar, you fly.
These are all the stops we're going to make today on our journey through the Reader's Garden. For this lesson, I will be there for you for every step of the way as we practice becoming stronger readers and stronger writers. So let's start following our path. This is the letter V. Yes. And V is a consonant. Yes, you've got it. V is one of our consonants. And V spells V. Ooh, I feel my lips buzzing when I make that sound. Can you say V? And you feel almost like a motor buzzing in your lips. We'll talk more about that sound in a moment. To sign the letter V in sign language, it looks a lot like the V. You can sign it with either hand, and it looks like the letter V. Let's talk more about the letter V. V spells V, like in the beginning of the word violin. Violin. Can you pretend to be playing a violin? I always wanted to know how to play the violin or the fiddle. I just think they're so beautiful. I also love the cello. Have you heard those instruments before? They are so beautiful. And they sort of make a vibrating sound, much like the sound we hear in V. 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 We often hear the letter V in the beginning of words, such as in the word vat, v, at, vat. Can you do that with me? V, at, vat. Very good. Or in the beginning of the word vent, vent, v, a, n, t, vent. Let's do it again. V, a, n, t, vent. So did you know that the sound that the letter V makes also has a fancy name, the way we make that sound? It's called a labiodental voiced consonant. Wow, that sounds so technical. Labiodental voiced consonant. How cool is that? So to make that sound, that buzzing V sound, you gently place your lower lip against your upper teeth. V. Then turn on your voice so you'll feel your throat buzzing and let the sound flow smoothly like a little buzz sound. V. All right, can you try it? V. Bottom lip, top teeth, steady voice. V. It's sort of like a fun science experiment with your mouth because you really feel the buzzing that's creating the sound. Get your skywriting hands ready so that we can skywrite the uppercase letter V. We're going to start together up at that top line and do a slanted line down to the bottom. And then stopping at the bottom, we're going to slant back up and hit the top line again. That is the uppercase V. To make the lowercase v, we're going to do the same thing as we did for the uppercase V, except smaller. So you're going to start, I'm going to do it just with one finger this time. We're going to start at the middle line, do a slanted line down to the bottom, stopping at the bottom, slant back up to the middle. So you sort of have the big version and the small version. Now we know that's not the case with all of our letters, but that is the case with the letter V. And what does V spell? V. Now that you've heard about our new concept, we're going to continue on with our phonemic awareness practice. We'll be blending with our friend Blenda and segmenting with our friend Siggy. So let's go meet up with them.
It's time to blend some phonemes. Blender, the blender by. Please blend each sound that I tell you, then say the word you got.
Blenda, hello. It is so good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here with us in the Reader's Garden today. So all of you out here know how we're going to do this, right? But if not, I will give you a quick reminder. So our friend Blenda, she only understands phonemes or sounds that have been blended together. So I am going to tell all of you some phonemes, and then we are going to use our finger tapping and blend those sounds together, and then Blenda will let us know if she understood the word. Okay, So here's our first one. We're going to do 4 words. The first sound is v, a, t. All right, do it with me. V, a, t. Vat. Vat. Blenda, did you understand vat? Oh, I'm glad. Do you know what a vat is? I think of a vat as being like a very large container. So like if you were to go to like Costco or someplace where they sell large amounts of stuff, you might find like a giant bottle of like ketchup, a vat of ketchup, or like a giant barrel really. And that, I think of like a giant container as a vat. Okay, we got off on a vat tangent, so let's get back to it. Here are your next sounds. V, a, s, t. All right, do it again with me. V, ast. Vast. Vast. Blenda, did you get vast? Good. Vast means something that's large and wide. So like if I go to visit the Grand Canyon and I see the view and it's just almost more than my eyes can take in, it's a vast thing that I'm seeing. Okay, next one. V, e, n, d. Again. V, e, n, d. Vend. Vend. Did you get that? Oh, good. Vend means to sell. Someone who sells something is a vendor. And for our final one, here we go. Sh, a, v. Again. Sh, a, v. Shave. Shave. Blenda, did you understand shave? Awesome. I'm so glad. All right, Blenda, as always, I'm so appreciative of your help in the Reader's Garden, and we will see you next lesson. Thank you so much. Bye.
Oh, hey there, Siggy, how you doing today? You're an expert segmenter and you love to play. Miss Gardner, tell us a word and let's all listen close. Then we'll say each phoneme our practice really shows.
Hey there, Siggy. How are you doing today? All right, so our friend Siggy is an expert segmenter, and he only understands words when we've segmented them into their individual phonemes. So let's see if we can do that and if Siggy can understand. So I'm going to get my stretchy blending noodles. I haven't really come up with a name for these, but these are like the fidgets that you might see. I got them in the Target dollar section, and these are just some plastic beads that I found at a craft store, and I put them on. I did need to use tweezers to help get them through, so you'd need an adult to help you, but they were pretty easy to make. Okay, so our first word is van. 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 And, oh, I hear the 3 sounds, the V, the nasalized A, and the N. Siggy, did you understand those 3 sounds? All right, let's snap them back together. Van. Excellent. I need 4 for our next one. I have my 4. So our next word is vest. 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 V-S. V-S-T. I hear V-S-T. 4 sounds. Snap them back. Vest. Siggy, did you understand all our individual sounds? I'm so glad. Let's do another one. This one will also have 4 sounds. Brave. 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 B-R-A-V. B-R-A-V. Siggy, do you get those? Okay, let's snap them back. Brave, brave. And for our last one, it'll also be 4. I'm going to just turn it in the opposite direction so we can mix up our bead color, because the color doesn't actually matter because they're just representing sounds since we can't see sounds. Our last one is vets. Vets. At the vet office where my dog goes, there are multiple vets. Okay, so we've got vets. Vets. V-et-s. V-et-s. Siggy, do you hear all those sounds? And snap them back. Vets. We did 4 segmenting practices. And Siggy, did you understand us all 4 times? Good. Wonderful. Thank you for helping us, and we will see you next time. Goodbye. Wonderful work, readers. It's time now for our visual drill practice. So let's keep heading down this path. These are the letters Q and U. What do the letters Q and U spell when they're together? Qua, qua. The letters Q and U spell qua, like in the word queen. This is the letter X. What does the letter X spell? The letter X spells X, X. The letter X spells X, like in the word fox. This is the letter Y. What does the letter Y spell? The letter Y spells Y, like in the beginning of the word yarn. This is the letter J. And what does the letter J spell? The letter J spells J. The letter J spells J, like in the beginning of the word jellyfish. This is the letter W. And what does the letter W spell? The letter W spells W. The letter W spells W, like in the beginning of the word water. This is the letter L. And what does the letter L spell? The letter L spells ul. The letter L spells ul, like in the beginning of the word lion. This is the letter R. And what does the letter R spell? The letter R spells The letter R spells like in the beginning of the word rainbow. This is the letter H. And what does the letter H spell? The letter H spells The letter H spells like in the beginning of the word hat. This is the letter K. And what does the letter K spell? The letter K spells K. The letter K spells K, like in the beginning of the word key. This is the letter S. And what does the letter S spell? The letter S spells S. The letter S spells S, like in the beginning of the word snake. This is also the letter S. And the letter S also spells The letter S also spells Z. The letter S also spells Z, like in the word music. Music. This is the letter E. And what does the letter E spell? The letter E spells E. The letter E spells E, like in the beginning of the word elephant. This is the letter B. And what does the letter B spell? The letter B spells B. The letter B spells B, like in the beginning of the word ball. This is the letter G. And what does the letter G spell? The letter G spells G. The letter G spells G, like in the beginning of the word goat. This is the letter U. And what does the letter U spell? The letter U spells The letter U spells like in the beginning of the word umbrella. This is the letter C. And what does the letter C spell? The letter C spells K. The letter C spells like in the beginning of the word cat. This is the letter D. What does the letter D spell? The letter D spells D. The letter D spells D, like in the beginning of the word duck. This is the letter O. And what does the letter O spell? The letter O spells ah. The letter O spells ah, like in the beginning of the word otter. This is the letter N. And what does the letter N spell? The letter N spells N. The letter N spells N, like in the beginning of the word nest. This is the letter I. And what does the letter I spell? The letter I spells I. The letter I spells I, like in the beginning of the word inchworm. This is the letter F. And what does the letter F spell? The letter F spells F. The letter F spells F, like in the beginning of the word feather. Feather. Now that we finished our visual drill, it's time for our auditory drill. So let's head down the path and practice our sounds. Please write the letter that makes the sound Q. To make the letter Q, you are going to start at the very top and do a circle all the way down to the bottom and coming back up to the top. And then you are going to hop to the middle and do a slanted line from the middle down to the bottom. That's how you write the letter Q. Now let's trace the letter Q in the air together. We're going to start at the top, do a curve down to the bottom, then do a curve back up to the top, making a circle. We're going to jump down to the middle and do a slanted line from the middle down to the bottom. That's how we write the letter Q. Please write the letter that makes the sound X. Please write the letter that makes the sound X. This is how you write the letter X. You start at the top line and you do a slanted line down to the bottom. Then you hop back up to the top and do a slanted line the other way back down to the bottom. To trace the letter X, we're going to do the same thing in the air together. Let's hop to the top, do a slanted line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, slanted line down to the bottom. That is how you write and trace the letter X. Please write the letter that makes the sound Y. Please write the letter that makes the sound Y. To write the letter Y, you're going to start at the top line and do a slanted line down to the middle. Then you're going to hop back up to the top line and do another slanted line down to the middle. When you're at that middle spot, you're going to do a straight line down to the bottom, a straight vertical line. Now let's trace the letter Y in the air together. Hopping to the top, we're going to do a slanted line to the middle, hop back up to the top, do a slanted line to the middle, and then do a vertical line from the middle to the bottom. That's how you write and trace the letter Y. Please write the letter that makes the sound J. Please write the letter that makes the sound J. To write the letter J, you're going to go to the top line and do a candy cane shape. So you're going to go from the top straight down to the bottom and then curve back up just a bit. Then you're going to hop back up to that top line and do a straight line across that top line. So you end up with a straight straight horizontal line, Let's trace that one together in the air. Let's do a J. So we're going to hop to the top, do a candy cane shape down and curving back up. Then we're going to hop back up to the top and do a horizontal line across that straight line that we just drew. And that is how you write and trace the letter J. Please write the letter that makes the sound W. Please write the letter that makes the sound W. This is how you write the letter W. You're going to start at the top line and do a slanted line down to the bottom. Then from the bottom, you're going to do a slanted line back up to the top. When you're at the top, you're going to do a slanted line back down to the bottom. And when you're at the bottom, you'll do a slanted line back up to the top. Let's trace the letter W in the air together. So starting at the top, we're going to do a slanted line down to the bottom. From the bottom, we'll do a slanted line back up to the top. From the top, we'll do the slanted line back down to the bottom, and from the bottom, we'll do a slanted line back up to the top. And that is how you do the very fun letter W. Please write the letter that makes the sound L. Please write the letter that makes the sound L. To write the letter L, you're going to hop up to the top line and do a vertical line straight down to the bottom. When you're at the bottom, you're going to do another line, this time a horizontal line across the bottom. That is how you write a letter L. Let's trace it together. We're going to hop to the top, do a straight line down to the bottom, and do a horizontal line across the bottom. And that's how we write and trace the letter L. Please write the letter that makes the sound R. Please write the letter that makes the sound R. To write the letter R, you're going to start at the top line and do a vertical line down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do a curve all the way back across the middle. Then when you're at that middle, you're going to do a slanted line down to the bottom. Now let's trace it in the air together. We're going to do a straight line from the top all the way down to the bottom. When we're at the bottom, we're hopping back up to the top and doing a curve to the middle. Once we're at that middle, we will do a slanted line down to the bottom. And that is how we write the letter R. Please write the letter that makes the sound H. Please write the letter that makes the sound H. To write the letter H, you're going to start at the top and do a vertical line down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do another vertical line down to the bottom. Then you'll do a horizontal line across the middle, connecting those two lines. Let's trace a letter H in the air. We're going to start at the top, do a vertical line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, do a vertical line down to the bottom, and then hopping to the middle, we will connect those two lines with a horizontal line. I really like the letter H because it is a symmetrical letter, meaning if we wanted to, we could fold that letter in half and it would be the same on either side. That is how you write and draw the letter H. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. To write the letter K, you're going to hop to the top line and do a vertical line straight down to the bottom. Then you're going to hop back up to the top and do a slanted line to the middle line, connecting with that first line. Then from that middle line, you're going to do another slanted line, but this one down to the bottom. Now let's trace it in the air together. We're going to hop to the top, do a straight line down to the bottom, hop back up to the top, do a slanted line to the middle, and then hop from the middle down to the bottom. That is how you write the letter K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Please write the letter that makes the sound K. Let's write the letter C. We're going to start almost at the top line and do a curve from that top spot, almost at that top spot, all the way around towards the bottom and curving up just a little bit. All right, now let's trace it together in the air. Starting almost at the top, we're going to curve around, down towards the middle, towards the bottom, curving back up and stopping. So we're almost making a circle, but not quite. And that is how you write and trace the letter C. Please write the letter that makes the sound Z. Write the letter that makes the sound Z. This is how you write the letter Z. You do one horizontal line across the top of your page. Then you do a slanted line from the top down to the bottom line. And then you do a third line, which is another horizontal line across at the bottom. All right, now let's trace that letter in the air together. We're going to do a line across, slanted line down to the bottom, and another line across. That's how you write the letter Z. Write the letter that makes the sound S. Write the letter that makes the sound S. This is how you write the letter S. Starting almost at the top, you're going to do a curve around and down to the middle. Then you're going to do a curve the opposite direction, down to the bottom, and scooping up just a little bit when you're at the bottom. Let's trace this one in the air together. This is a really fun letter. To do the letter S, we're going to start almost at the top, curve all the way around towards the middle. Then going the opposite direction, we're going to curve towards the bottom and curve just slightly back up. And that is how you write and trace the letter S. Fantastic job on our visual and our auditory drill. It's time now for us to take all our sounds and blend them together for our blending drill. So let's continue down our path. We have lots of interesting sounds to work with on our blending boards today. So let's check out our variety. Sometimes I feel like it's like we're walking up to a tray of like toppings to put on ice cream and we're deciding the order to make like the most delicious thing. Like that's how this always feels with our new boards. So for our initial sounds, we've got K, K, W, W, Y, Y, and Q, U for Q. For our medial sounds, we have the vowels E and I. And for our final sounds, we have D, P, S, S, T, L, T, and T. So for ST, it would be st. And for LT, ult. And then finally, we have an additional sound here, an additional ending sound. We have the S sound, which is helpful if we want to make things go from singular, just one of them, to plural, more than one of them. All right, so our first word we're going to make is the word west, west. So that can be somebody's name, and it can also be the direction on a compass. W, e, st, st, west, west. Now, I would like to swap out that ending st for this other interesting ending, the lt, welt, welt. Now, what will happen if I take off that middle sound, our medial E, and add an I? I get wilt, wilt. Now, I'm going to do an interesting change here. I'm going to take off my W, I have ilt, and add the quilt, quilt, like a big blanket that you put on your bed. My sister loves to make quilts. So now I want to change quilt to kilt, quilt to kilt. Ooh, I'm going to take off my qu and replace it with a k, kilt, kilt. Now, taking off my ult and replacing it with my t, k, kit, kit. So, ooh, that made me think of like a Lego kit where you buy a Lego set and it has the directions and you can build it. Sometimes we call that a Lego set. Sometimes we call it a Lego kit. Okay, so now changing the k to the qu, I get quit, quit. And if I want you to make this plural, I would say quits, quits. All right, there were so many quits on the team that we had to do tryouts again because we needed more players. All right, now changing out the t, t, t for the p, 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 we get quips, quips. And let's take off that S, oop, goes there. We get quip, quip. A quip I think of as like a little argument, quip. And then finally, how would I change quip to quid, quid? Oh, I see. I'll take off my P and use the d, 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 and I get quid, quid, which is a way that often money is referred to in Europe, or I think specifically in the UK. I'm sorry to any watchers in the UK if I got that totally wrong. I will make sure to look it up. All right, great job blending today. Let's put our letters away whence they came, our final letters, our medial sounds, and our initial letters. So we're all ready for our next time. We're now entering the second part of our lesson. If you're going to do just part 1, this is where you'll pause. But if you're doing part 1 and part 2 today, then keep going with me and we'll review that new concept we talked about at the beginning of our lesson. Let's go. This is the letter V. Yes. And V is a consonant. Yes, you've got it. V is one of our consonants. And V spells V. Ooh, I feel my lips buzzing when I make that sound. Can you say V? And you feel almost like a motor buzzing in your lips. We'll talk more about that sound in a moment. To sign the letter V in sign language, it looks a lot like the V. You can sign it with either hand, and it looks like the letter V. Let's talk more about the letter V. V spells V, like in the beginning of the word violin. Violin. Can you pretend to be playing a violin? I always wanted to know how to play the violin or the fiddle. I just think they're so beautiful. I also love the cello. Have you heard those instruments before? They are so beautiful, and they sort of make a vibrating sound, much like the sound we hear in V. 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 We often hear the letter V in the beginning of words, such as in the word vat, v-a-t, vat. Can you do that with me? V-a-t, vat. Very good. Or in the beginning of the word vent, vent, v-a-n-t, vent. Let's do it again. V-a-n-t, vent. So did you know that the sound that the letter V makes also has a fancy name, the way we make that sound? It's called a labiodental voiced consonant. Wow, that sounds so technical. Labiodental voiced consonant. How cool is that? So to make that sound, that buzzing V sound, you gently place your lower lip against your upper teeth. V. Then turn on your voice so you'll feel your throat buzzing, and let the sound flow smoothly like a little buzz sound. All right, can you try it? Bottom lip, top teeth, steady voice. It's sort of like a fun science experiment with your mouth because you really feel the buzzing that's creating the sound. Get your skywriting hands ready so that we can skywrite the uppercase letter V. We're going to start together up at that top line and do a slanted line down to the bottom. And then stopping at the bottom, we're going to slant back up and hit the top line again. That is the uppercase V. To make the lowercase v, we're going to do the same thing as we did for the uppercase V, except smaller. So you're going to start, I'm going to do it just with one finger this time. We're going to start at the middle line, do a slanted line down to the bottom, stopping at the bottom, slant back up to the middle. So you sort of have the big version and the small version. Now we know that's not the case with all of our letters, but that is the case with the letter V. And what does V spell? V. We've now reached the part of our lesson where we do our word work. So if you have a word work board that looks like that on my sign, you should pause here and get out your materials. If you're going to follow along with me and my word work board, then let's keep going together on this path. Let's go do some word work. We've got our word work board up on the screen, and if you're using a word work board out in your learning environment, I hope you have it in front of you now as well. If you need to, pause so that we can do it together. Otherwise, you can just follow along with me here on the screen. So let's start. Oh gosh, did you notice? We have learned so many of our phonemes that we are missing just one, and then we will have all of the letters in the alphabet that we have practiced. So we're going to start with the word, the name, Vin. Vin is a name that's often short for Vincent, and it can be short for Vivian. Vin. Vin. Now, changing one letter, I would like to change Vin to Van. Van. I'm going to need to change my I for an A to get van. Van. Now, how would I change van to tan? Tan. I'm going to need to take off the V, and now I have an, and I'll replace it with my T for tan. Tan. Now, I would like to change the middle sound from an A or an A to an et, and 10. Oh, like the number 10, like 10 fingers. Now, what happens when I put a D on the end? I get tend. Tend. To tend something means to take care of it. So changing just the beginning letter, my T goes there. Oh, I have end. And now I'm going to put on an F and I have fend, fend. Now, how do I change fend to end? You just saw me do it. I take off that F and I'm left with end, end. Now, I would like to see what happens with a V in the beginning. I get vend, vend. I want to change vend to vent, vent. I'm going to need to change that final sound to a t, 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 vent, vent. Now, I'm going to change this N out and replace it with an S. And I get vest, vest. And then finally, I want to change vest to vet, like a veterinarian. So I will do that by taking off the S and scooting the T, and I get vet, vet. And that is my word chain for today. So we can reset our board so we're ready for lesson 34. So put your T back on the T spot, the E on the E spot, and the V on the V spot. And we are all set for tomorrow. Great word working. Wonderful word work, readers. It's time now for us to head over to our irregular word practice. So let's head down this path and keep going. Our new irregular word is the word what, and today we're going to learn why we need to know parts of it by heart. The word is what. Say it with me. What? Let's use what in a sentence. For example, what is your name? Now you try using what in a sentence. Let's figure out how many sounds are in the word what. We're going to finger tap those sounds together. The first sound, w. The next sound, last sound, t. What? Let's do it again. W, t. What? There are 3 sounds in the word what. Now let's look at what makes this word irregular. Now we have the W and the H together, and we haven't learned about that pattern yet. However, the part that makes this really irregular is that letter A. The letter A is making the short U sound. And we don't expect that. We expect the A to make the A sound, like a short A, but that's not happening in the word what. So we have the WH, which are temporarily irregular. For the digraph rule we haven't learned yet, we're making the sound W. And then we have the A making So we need to know those parts by heart so that we can read and write this word. What? Now let's put it on our arms together. W-H-A-T, what? W-H-A-T, what? And that is the word what. Our new heart word is the word have. Have. And we're going to learn why this is an irregular word. So the word is have. Can you say it? Have. Let's use have in a sentence. For example, I have a dog. Now you try using have in a sentence. Let's figure out how many sounds are in the word have. Let's finger tap those sounds together. What's the first sound? Next, last, v. Have. Let's do it again. Have. There are 3 sounds in the word have. Now let's look at what is irregular about this word. Well, we have an E at the end of this word. And the rule about E's at the end of word is the silent E rule, which we may not have learned yet. But when we see a silent E at the end of a word, we typically expect that the first vowel that we see in that word is going to be saying its name, a long A. So we would actually expect this word to sound have, have, but it doesn't. It's have, which means the silent E is the unexpected part of this word because this word does not represent that long A sound that we would expect. So we need to learn by heart that this word have is have. Okay, now let's spell have on our arms. H-A-V-E, have. Again, H-A-V-E, have. And that is the word have. The word is are. Say it with me, are. Now let's use are in a sentence. For example, we are friends. Now you try using are in a sentence. Let's figure out together how many sounds are in the word are. We're going to finger tap those sounds. What's the first sound? Ah, and the next sound, Ah, are. Let's do it again. Ooh, we just sounded like a pirate. Ah, are. Now let's focus on the parts of this word that we need to learn by heart. When we look at this word and we hear this word, we hear are, but the letters are A, R, E. And we haven't really learned yet about the rule with an E at the end of a word. So we would expect this word to say air because the E is helping out that A, but that's not what's happening with this word. We pronounce this word are. So the unexpected part of this word is the E at the end because it's not doing the job that we expect it to do. So what word is this? Are. Now let's practice spelling it on our arm. A-R-E, are. Again, A-R-E, are. And that is the word are. The word is was. Say it with me, was. Now let's use was in a sentence. For example, she was at school. Now you try using this word in a sentence. Let's figure out how many sounds are in the word was. We're going to finger tap those sounds. The first sound, w. The next sound, The last sound, z. Was. Let's do it again. Z. Was. There are 3 sounds in the word was. Now let's focus on what makes this irregular. When we look at the first sound, we see the W, and it is making an expected sound. It's saying w. But then we get to the A and the S. The A is making the sound as if it were a U, but it's not a U, it's an A. So we need to learn that part by heart. And the Z, or the S, is making a Z sound, which we haven't learned about yet, but sometimes the S does that. So this is was. There are several parts of this word that we need to learn by heart. Let's practice spelling it on our arm. W-A-S, was. Can you do that? W-A-S, was. And this is the word was. So the word is you. Say it with me, you. Now let's use the word you in a sentence. For example, you are my friend. Now you try using you in a sentence. Remember, you can pause if you need to. So let's figure out how many sounds are in the word you. Let's finger tap. Y, oo, you. Again, y, oo, you. There are 2 sounds in the word you. Now let's look at what makes this word irregular. The Y is making an expected sound. It's saying y. Now let's look at the O and the U together. We hear ooh, which is not what we expect from that vowel team when they're together. The O and the U together are a vowel team, but they're not making their expected vowel team sound. Instead, they're saying ooh. And that's the part of this word that we need to know by heart. So we have you. And the heart helps us remember the by heart part. All right, let's spell this out on our arm. Y-O-U, you. Again, make sure you do it with me. Y-O-U, you. And that is the word you. Wow, readers, we are nearly at the end of our lesson today. Our last practice is our connected text, which is my favorite part of all of our lessons. Now we are going to take all the concepts we've been working on and we're going to put them together as readers and as writers. So let's go and finish up our practice together. Here is our connected text reading for today. We're going to read 3 sentences together. Now, if you'd like to have this exact sheet to follow along with, you can download it from the link below. So I was showing you in our last few lessons how you can cover up your text so it's not so overwhelming for you. So I would recommend we do that again. This time I figured out a new strategy where I put my text on top of a magnetic board, and so I'm able to just magnetize my paper directly on top, which is pretty convenient. I'm always liking to figure out new ways to make stuff work for us. Now we're all set to read the text of the first sentence. Let's start by counting how many words we see. I have a highlighter so we can highlight as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. I see 6 words, and I see 1 word that has the letter V in it right there. I don't see any other V's. Do you? Okay, let's start by reading together, and already I spot that first word is one of our heart words. We know that one. The dog had a, that's another one of our irregular words, vest on. The dog had a vest on. Have you seen dogs wearing vests before? I guess service dogs often have vests on. I was thinking in my brain a little bit more like a dog in like a fancy costume or something like that. But I guess working dogs are often wearing vests. So now I'm going to slide our paper down to expose our next sentence and cover this up there. Our next sentence, let's count those words together. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. I also happen to notice that we're ending with a question mark, which indicates that this is a question sentence. And then finally, let's see if we can spot those letter V's that we've been talking about. I see a V here, and I also see a V here. So let's start out by reading our first word, which is also a word that we have learned in our irregular word practice. What did Vic? Oh, that's a nickname. That's a shortened name for someone who's named Victor or Victoria, or I guess there's other names it could be a nickname for as well. What did Vic get at the vet? What did Vic get at the vet? I wonder. And for our last one, let's do some more scooting. We've got that there, we've got this there, and we are ready to count our words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another 7-word sentence. I realize this might not show up very well on camera, so maybe I won't use this highlighter again. Let's circle, I see a V in the beginning, and I see a V in the final word as well. And I also see a fair amount of irregular words in this sentence. Let's start out with Vin. Vin, I love that. I have a few people in my life who are very special to me named Vin. Vin and I Vin and I are at the van. Vin and I are at the van. There are so many words in this sentence that are heart words. Wow. And I are at the, lots of heart words. All the words in this sentence except for the V words are heart words. That's incredible. All right, let's read all of our sentences. Here we go. And I'm going to pull a different color out to point with. The dog had a vest on. What did Vic get at the vet? Vin and I are at the van. Beautiful job. Star work. And let's move on to some writing. It's time for us to finish up our connected text practice with some writing. So our first sentence is Bev and Viv went to me. So a 6-word sentence. Bev and Viv went to me. 6 words. So Bev and Viv are both names. So let's go ahead and give ourselves some space to write. So let's see. Bev, and Viv went to me. I don't know if that's going to be enough space, but we'll see if it is. If it's not, then we can always make more space. All right, so, I always forget to tell you this. Make sure that you pause and do your own writing because you'll get a lot more out of it if you do it yourself. Then unpause, press play, come back, and we'll check your writing together. All right, so the sentence is, Bev and Viv went to me. Let's write it. Bev, capital B, E, V. Bev and Bev and Viv, V-I-V, Viv, that's sometimes a nickname for Vivian. Bev and Viv went, vent, Bev and Viv went to me. Bev and Viv vent to me. And vent means to talk to someone where you're expressing your frustration. You're like, oh, and this was really frustrating and I want to talk about this. And so that is what venting is. Okay, next sentence. What is in the van? Okay, what is in the van? 5-word sentence. What is in the van? Let's give ourselves some space to write. I'm using highlighters for this. What is in the van? I think I can fit it all on that line. And I can tell too from how I asked it, especially because it starts with what, that it's going to end with a question mark. What is in the van? Pause, go right, and then come back. What? What? We know that from our irregular word practice. What is in the van? What is in the van? And for our last sentence, we are going to do this sentence. Val and I got a lot. Val and I got a lot. That's a 6-word sentence. Val and I got a lot. And so let's mark that on our pages. We've got Val, and I got a, and I think I'm going to need to scoot down to this next section, so I'll move my camera down. Lot. And we'll see if that gives us the space we need. All right, now remember, pause if you need to so that you can come back and check your work with me. All right, so our first word is Val. That's somebody's name. Val. And I move these magnets so they're not under my hand. Val and I got, G goes below that line, got a lot. Period. Val and I got a lot. Let's read all of the sentences we wrote. Bev and Viv went to me. Vent to me. That means like they complain about something to me. What is in the van? Val and I got a lot. And that is our connected text writing today, which brings us to the end of our lesson. Congratulations! We made it to the end of today's lesson. You are working so hard as a reader and as a writer, and I am so proud of you. But more importantly, I hope that you are proud of you. You are doing such a wonderful job in the Reader's Garden. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Phonics Connects.